all that hard work just to go out within like 8 minutes was soul destroying. It was literally the most embarrassing moment of my entire life. And I was never really sort of into, well, I'm not saying I'm not into reality TV, but I do watch it depending on what they were. I didn't really feel as though there's anything sort of for me, being where I'm at age-wise and obviously where I'm relationship-wise, stuff like obviously Love Island wouldn't be an option, being married. So there was a few other things that could potentially, because it was completely unique and nothing else out there like it completely, it gauged my attention.
So it was really quick turnaround from when you were approached to going on the show. So you kind of didn't really, I suppose, have time to prepare for what's going to happen.
It was actually, to be honest with you, I got contacted this time last year in January, and then we didn't actually start filming or get the green light until March, April, May, second week of May, I found out. So it actually took like 4 months through the qualifying process.
And did you, like, during that time, talk to, your boss, your colleagues, your friends, your family about it and how your life might change?
No, because I had to sort of keep it quiet. That was part of the process of going on there. Like, don't tell anyone you're going on there. I think the mission started even when they was vetting us to go on there, the casting. Obviously knew close friends and family knew that I was going for it. And some people are like, oh, are you sure at your age? And do you think it's going to be all right? What's it about? And so I had a few sort of mixed reactions of what he was actually what was I letting myself in for. But yeah, mostly all positive, because I think when you get an opportunity like this, you'd be silly not to sort of at least try and see how you go. So it was more positive, but they were just worried about whether I'd look like a so, which I did. So.
Nah. And so what were you kind of doing in your job before the show? Like, what was life like for you before the show?
So yeah, just a normal married man with 2 young children. I'm a consultant for a document management company. So we help businesses do business optimization, streamlining processes. We go in and solve problems for companies in regards to data and documents around the business. So I'm pretty good at solving problems on a company level. And it was just normal for me, normal. And funny enough, the story is I actually, before I found out that I was going on the show, I'd actually been for an interview at a new place. So I'd handed my notice in and I was having a start date for my new job. And then I got the green light to go on the show in between. So I had to literally, like, my own sort of military operation to say to my new job, can I push back my start date by a week or so? Because I've got a holiday programmed in, because I couldn't really even tell them. Because you had to keep it confidential. Then jumping forward to on the show, when I was like 2.5 weeks in, I had to actually get a special call organised for them to call my new boss to say to them, can I push my start date back another week? Which I was really concerned about, because obviously they're thinking, is he not going to take the job? Is there an issue there? So I had to get my wife to call up and speak to my new boss and explain that I'm on a TV show and I've gone quite far in it. So it was causing me major stress on the show, because I thought I've accepted a brand new job, but they've not heard from me because I didn't have any internet access, no phone access. So they thought of ghosting them, or I'm not just turning up. So it was a concern, like 2 weeks in. I didn't think I'd last that long, but I did. So yeah, I had to get special authorization to speak to my wife. They had to get someone to speak to my wife, and my wife to speak to the company to tell them that I'm still starting my job. I just have to push it back another week. So that was a bit crazy.
Yeah, because my question was like, did you just have to fake annual leave? But that's a lot higher stakes than.
Yeah, no, I was literally, it was like a military operation. Because I was worrying a lot, because obviously if they don't hear from me, if they'd sent me emails and not responded, they think, okay, he's not starting, and that's it. And it's a massive move for me. I was headhunted from another company, so luckily they were very supportive. And when I got out of the show, I come in and had a quick coffee with them before I started on the Monday. I left the show on the Friday. On the Thursday, I popped into work on the Friday for an hour meeting to let them know what was going on and bring them up to speed. And I started the job on the Monday. So, and then trying to wind down from the show. So it was quite a crazy week. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to that in a bit, because I have some questions about that further down. But
yeah.
So how did you feel when you started filming? Obviously, like, what was it like meeting the other contestants? Obviously, you got sent home.
As you
like,
saw,
on the first
wasn't
day.
long for me. So I saw Claudia for 6 minutes and then was booted out. So I didn't have much time to really interact with them, to be fair.
Like, how long did you know after you were booted out? How long were you left in suspense
So
before you found out you're being
it's
brought
the
back?
most common question. Yeah, it was. They told me about half an hour after we walked down the driveway and was absolutely devastated. It was about half an hour later they told us, they got into the car and said, we're bringing you back. So me and Amos the car was shaking from side to side where we was jumping up and down in the back of the car, because obviously we'd been through quite a horrific 8 minutes, and all that hard work just to go out within like 8 minutes was soul destroying. It was literally the most embarrassing moment of my entire life, and that was just in that moment. I was going to have to relive that again when the show came out, and which I still did, because I had to keep quiet while the show's out. I had to I took the day off work the next day. I had loads of people going, you giving it the big one that you was going on the show. You was in there like 8 minutes. Like, I was absolutely ripped to shreds. So was Amos, and we had to go along with it because we couldn't spoil the surprise. So not only did we have the incident of it happening on the at the show, we had to relive and a whole week before episode 5 came out before we went back in. So we had to go along with it and go, yeah, it was disappointing. It was gutted. Like, we tried our best and all that, but obviously we knew there was a little secret coming, so that was quite good.
Yeah, at least you had that. And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
When you came back, did you guys know who came? Did you know who had left already, or who had been accused or anything, or was it just
no?
Yeah.
No, that's another thing that just, well, a lot of people saying, it was an advantage, you leapfrog a couple of places. It certainly wasn't, because we'd lost all bonding. We hadn't even been in the castle. We couldn't even take in the surroundings of the cameras being mic'd up. It was just like, we were just said, there you go, boys, drop back in, have fun. And it was not the lineup that we left. Obviously, it was happy until we got booted out. But when we come back in, as you probably saw, things had moved up a few notches. And we were just trying to get back in the game as quick as we could, build bonds. And a lot of people thought me or Amos, one of us, would be a traitor. So there was a lot of talks. They didn't show, but there was a lot of talks about a few of them going for me and Amos on the first night, and that would have been a lot for someone to take. Obviously, being out, phone out, come back in, then get banished on the first night when you're going back in, because it was an easy vote for the contestants. Obviously, they didn't want to target or eliminate other people, so if they went for the 2 newbies, it was quite an easy vote. But luckily, they took that tactic away from them, and we was not able to be voted for that night, and we wasn't able to cast our vote. So that kept the wolves at bay for one episode at least. Yeah.
So much changed in 24 hours.
So much, yeah.
Wow. And obviously we saw a lot of the show, but like, what's your favorite memory from being on it?
I've got a few, to be honest with you. I've got quite a few. Nothing sort of sticks out. I thoroughly enjoyed the well, I didn't at the moment, but obviously I enjoyed doing my parting gift at the end. Obviously it was a massive part for me, and it changed the whole bit of the game. I really enjoyed coming back in episode 5. That was great for me and Amos. I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed the final mission as well. That was really good as well. So I've got quite about 5 or 6 highlights, because my journey is quite unique, from getting thrown out to coming back. I liked the scene where Will actually me and Will had the showdown at the fire pit. That's one of my favourite scenes as well. But obviously it was quite annoying, because I knew he was going to kill me as well at the same time. But it was still a great scene. I've got probably about 5 or 6 really good bits in the show that I'm really quite fond of.
And you made friends for life?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm with Maddie on Sunday. I was with Amanda 2 weeks ago at DragCon. I see Amos every other week. I speak to him 3 times a week. Will, I was with Will and Amos was out the other night. We've absolutely trauma bonded for life, we call it.
And obviously that parting gift line is going to go down as like one of TV's greatest ever TV lines. How did you feel in that moment? Like, how did you feel after you said it and left? Obviously you'd lost a lot of money, but I imagine, and like, if I was in your shoes, I'd feel so smug.
It could have went either way. I mean, I actually had Rylan Clark message me on Instagram saying that's one of the best reality TV moments I've ever seen. Wow. And I messaged him back saying nearly as good as yours, and he put nearly, so it was a bit of funny banter between us. I wasn't just going to take that line down. I could have easily just walked away from that table and let them go to the wolves. And Will played an absolute stonker. All due respect to the man, you can't have a goodie without a baddie. So everyone played such a good role in there. But I think 99.9% of the people were itching for something to happen. But no one really saw that twist coming. It only come to me about half hour before the round table. And obviously actually using those words only came to me when I was sat at the round table. So I had to be very careful what I said and how I said it within the parameters of the rules. But yeah, it actually worked out pretty damn good. And it was like a mic drop, grenade drop, and the rest was down to them, really. I mean, if they didn't get it after that, Jesus Christ, I think they're on their own. So, but it could have went either way. Hannah was just not ever going to be swayed. Aaron was got it. I could hear them saying, "What does he mean, parting gift?" as I was walking off. So, so I knew something had planted, but I didn't know obviously what had happened until I saw it myself. So yeah, I'm very proud of that. I think I could have went either way, and I'm glad. I mean, Aaron with his mum and the money, and the other three, I think it was a fitting end. I think the battle between me and Will was epic. If he would have stuck to the plan, we would have sailed through to the final. But I had a real issue with backstabbing him at that stage in the game. Like, I just hated. I'd come so far as a faithful and done so well as a faithful. For me to just turn last minute was, and it was quite a lot for me to deal with. And I've only the only person that's done that. No one had that journey that I've had, getting thrown out, coming back. I instigated the attack against Amanda. I was the first person to mention Amanda to get her out, because obviously she was sailing under that. And then and then turning that 11th out, I was gutted because I was so close to changing my life and my family's life. I was, and even if I went as a faithful or I won with Will, it would have been a life-changing amount. But sometimes, yes, you win in other ways, don't you? And you got to do the greater good sometimes, and that's what it was. So
yeah,
free people are a lot richer. I mean, I watched it back on Gogglebox, and that was quite epic watching it on there. And they were like, a lot of people wanted that to sort of happen, and you had a few people. I mean, Will, like I say, Will played an absolute blind, and I did feel guilty for him, but only for a minute.
And so now we're on to back to reality. So when the show ended, when you got sent home, how did you feel, like walking through your front door to your wife and kids? Like,
yeah, it took me 2 to 3 weeks to recover. To be honest with you, I was absolutely exhausted, mentally drained. I've been through every single emotion you can physically imagine on that show in a prolonged period as well, to have all of the emotions each day back to back. X amount of hours a day. So I was really just exhausted and just ready to come home and have a cuddle with my wife and kids, and just trying to adjust to normal life. It took me about 2 or 3, but I started my new job on the Monday. And that was a good distraction because I had a lot of stuff to do very quickly. So that actually helped me. But when I'd have my quiet moments and just reflecting, it was sort of living back. If I'd have done this differently, I've done that differently. You just second guess some of your actions, but I wouldn't change a single thing. I believe fate deals your cards sometimes, and it had to happen the way it was, and that was it. But yeah. And then once the show came out, it was reliving it. I mean, I watched it, but I didn't really take a lot in. I'll probably watch it again in a month when things have settled down, because I still can, because it brought back a lot of raw feelings and emotions again watching it. Because what we see now is what other people are saying about you, all the other stuff. So it's a complete different element from playing the game, thinking about what happened, then actually watching it back with 3 completely different things. So again, a bit of a emotional roller coaster. So
did you have to have some hard chats with the other contestants after they said stuff in like the side rooms or anything?
Yeah, to be fair, like for me, again, and with me, I never got mentioned once at the round table. I never got voted for once. I was never mentioned in the Traitors pit. I never got mentioned at all. So my game tactics were pretty damn spot on. I kept friends close and a traitor closer, as long as I could to survive. And I was very, very close. But no, I didn't really get a lot of stick compared to some other people, and some people were quite outspoken. I was quite proud of, I just was who I was, and that was it. I didn't change it, so that was it. I just remained who I was, so that was a benefit.
It was a really long time before, like, so you said you were filming in around May, and then
another 6 months.
Yeah,
another 6 months. And it was quite hard waiting for the show to come out, because we had to wait for dates and all stuff like that, and a lot of people were getting like a little bit like, when is it going to actually happen, because we get a bit apprehensive and a bit of nervous and a bit all sorts of emotions going through, really. And then when it come out, it was a whirlwind, because it's just, well, I thought it'd be okay. I thought it might have a cult following. We thought many different things, but then I don't think I felt we were making something special at the time because it was so unique, and I knew that because of how emotionally ruined I was and so many other people. So I knew they'd taken their pound of flesh, so to speak. But I don't think anyone realised how big it was going to be and how invested so many people were going to go into work the next day. And I've had people saying they've had full-blown arguments about it at work, people going in recommending it, saying you've got to watch this. Word of mouth is what's made it go through the roof. And I think it was at 30 million streams through iPlayer last week. So I think it's a new record for them. So it's literally
my mum had to ask me to stop asking her to watch the Traitors.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
It's good though.
So obviously when it came out, you pretty much became an overnight sensation. Did you start to notice things like rapidly change for you? Like,
yeah, it was ridiculously. I think after the final, I went up 9,000 followers in one night. I've had so many messages of love and thingy, but it's just weird because going out into November was just normal. Now I go out, I get people stopping me for selfies in Tesco's and Simmons and garages, and like people running over to me, second looking at me. It's like, yes, it's lovely, and I always give everyone the time of day. I think if anyone would have asked for a photo for me back then, I would have relished the opportunity to do that. And it doesn't take anything for you to stop and have a conversation with someone and have a photo with them. Just remember where you come from and keep very grounded and loyal. So it's very nice, and I'm taking it day by day and step by step. And it is a bit crazy now. We went to RuPaul's Drag Con with Amanda, and people were waiting 3.5 hours to meet us to queue to meet us, to have a photo with us and talk to us. It's one of the biggest queues I've ever seen. We were getting mobbed just walking through the exhibition. It was quite surreal, to be honest with you. It's crazy.
Wow. And did you also have, like, I imagine you have everyone you've ever met on your Facebook contacting you?
Yeah, I've had a few. Hello, me. I met you in the lift once. Do you remember? Yeah, I've had. I went to school with you. We shared crayons. Yeah, I've had a few people like that have. Quite awkwardly, I've actually had a Facebook cleanse probably about 2 years ago, and then they've gone, "Oh yeah, I know Kieran." Gone to look at, and they're like, "We're not friends anymore." It's just got. I'm very well grounded on stuff like that. I think my circle of people has always been pretty tight and loyal, and newcomers. You're gonna get it with this type of show. You're gonna get like people, oh, I know Kieran and stuff like that, but it's all positive and it's all love, and I think everyone's really just embraced it and just be thankful for the experience that we've shared, and just remember where we came from, and we are just normal people. I think that's what's made it really good, just to be honest with you. I think we're not your Instagram body perfect Love Island, we're just like, well, I keep saying normalish people, and very diverse cast, and I think that was one of the selling points.
Yeah, it's very different to Traitors US. I started watching that the other day because obviously they've already got some established reality TV stars on. And I noticed how different it was, and then like people criticizing when like binning people that they didn't like. I just thought it was
it's quite intense to sort of get it right. So basically what it is, a lot of people are comparing it to each one. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. I think if you're comparing it, apples and pears, they're two different things. And I think we did set the standard so high, and because it's quite in close succession of each other, it's quite raw. So everyone's remembering the first, like us, and then looking at it. So I was watching it. I'm still waiting to I think I'm on episode 5, and I think it's starting to get a little bit more lively. So, but yeah, I know I've got a long way to go. But yeah, I still watch it. It's different. You've got some reality stars in there. It's very different. So, you just got to sort of go with the flow and just see how it pans out. But a lot of people are saying it's not the same, but they're two different things. So.
And so back to your new job, obviously you came into work, then you had a couple months of working there, and so your colleagues got to know you as you, but then you had it dropped. Did anything change in your work? Like, did you also have, clients be like?
Yeah, so I do a lot of presentations for software presentations and meetings, and a lot of people like second going, "Are you Kieran from the Traitors?" So I've got so it's actually quite a good icebreaker. And if they've watched it, they know straight away, and they absolutely love it, and then fire loads of questions. We don't actually talk about work. They end up just grilling me about stuff on the show. So it's quite good. And my work colleagues find it quite funny. I went out with my boss last week for lunch, and we come out of a restaurant, and literally 3 young schoolgirls come running over saying, "Can I have a photo with you, Kieran?" He goes, "This is unbelievable. I left you like a month ago and it was normal. Now people are running over and asking for photos for you." I went, "Yeah, think how I feel. It's just so surreal." So, but yeah, it's a big change.
And obviously, you mentioned that a lot of the social kind of conversations have been positive, which is obviously brilliant. But a lot of people had very strong thoughts about parting gift.
Yeah, that is literally, you have a lot of people say, oh, he's cheated. I mean, if the BBC actually had to release a statement about it. I think said that if it was cheated, it wouldn't have got on. It would have been stopped there and then. It wouldn't have made it to the cut 6 months ago after it was made. You can openly sit at that table like Will did and say, I think it's Amanda, I think it's Alyssa. I could stand up and say, Will, I think you're a traitor for X, Y, for his reasons. I can send you that. What you can't do is go, I know Will's a traitor because I'm a traitor. That's breaching the code. So apart from that, you can plant seeds. That's the good thing about this show, psychological warfare. But yeah, I've seen full-blown arguments between people. And me and Will are absolutely fine. He texted me the day after the show. We've been out multiple times, had beers. We're friends now. He don't hold a grudge. I don't hold a grudge. But some people are having massive online arguments about it. And me and Will are absolutely fine. So I think you can't sit there engaging, and the golden rule is just not engaged. And I think people are entitled to their opinions, and that's the beauty of life. But yeah, it wouldn't have made the cut if it was cheating. But yeah, I've seen some full-blown arguments online about it. So all talking about it is good, I suppose. So we leave them to it. But me and Will are fine.
Do you anticipate your life going back to what it was like before the show, or do you want to do more TV, more acting, more?
Yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed myself. I'm not going to lie, I've really enjoyed it. I think I've come across okay on the show. It's given me a new sort of lease of life in regards to some things that I potentially do. I would love to do. I used to be a DJ years ago. I'm going to go back to doing some special DJing. I think I quite like that. My kids are a little bit old. Well, they're only 2 and 5, but I think my wife might let me go and do some of that. I really want to get into some sort of acting and presenting. I think I've got a good skill set for that. So I'm going to sort of try and pitch anything along those lines, and see what I'll definitely consider all opportunities going forward. I'm very keen martial arts and boxing. I'm very keen into and stuff like that. So I'm just going to. The acting and presenting is a good thing for me. I think I'd like to sort of look into those routes. A lot of people saying I give off EastEnders villain vibes and stuff like that. So I think I'll be a baddie in EastEnders. I've had loads of tweets about that and messages about that. So that's something I certainly would consider.
Like the parting gift, obviously, but it was the strategic trench coat. I think that was like.
I did look like a baddie, didn't I? I'm not going to lie, yeah.
No, especially it just really set it perfectly.
On the last day as well, yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, actually, yeah, I couldn't have picked a better outfit for the day, really, could I? I was like Columbo stroke EastEnders villain, yeah.
It was very fashionable. I was like, did they give that to him as a prop? Like, because it looked so good in the scene. I was like, this is perfect.
No, literally, it was my last. I hadn't worn it before. I saved it for the final, so. All the clothes, they don't give us any clothes or fashion thing. Everyone can just be yourself and wear what you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of my favourite coats. So I love coats. And you can see I probably had about 7 different coats on the show. So I saved that one for last. So it's pretty good.
And so the final question I have is, what it's like being back to reality.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a come down anything. It's actually, I just feel a nice feeling that I've had a new sort of lease of life, and there's new sort of spring in my step. I've got new direction, potentially new opportunities to look into. So it's got multiple benefits. Yeah, it's adjusting is quite hard. So I've just got to try and get the sweet spot of adjusting to normality, and where obviously, being normal and around my friends and family, and obviously getting stopped and adjusting. But yeah, I'm just trying to make those adjustments at the moment and just get back in. I'm like at work today. I've snuck out in the car and had a quick meeting with you. So I've just got to try and balance work life and opportunities that come up. So, but yeah, I'm relishing. I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity and the experience that I've shared and everything that comes with it. I'm very grateful and thankful for it, even to be speaking to you now. So it's all a blessing for me. So.
I feel really lucky they got to speak to you and I didn't have to queue 3 hours to do it.
No, it's an absolute pleasure.